The President of the United States watched in horror as his Ford-class aircraft carrier was lifted straight into the air by a massive tsunami. But what was even more terrifying was that the tsunami didn't slow down at all. It surged forward with unstoppable force, heading straight for the White House. As the aircraft carrier drew closer and closer, the president made no attempt to escape. In the end, both he and the White House were mercilessly swallowed by the waves. But the United States wasn't the only country affected. Unprecedented disasters began erupting all over the world. In this catastrophe, an 8.0 magnitude earthquake was nothing more than an aftershock. Even Mount Everest, the roof of the world, was swallowed by the tsunami. This revered monk gave his life to sound humanity's final warning. As the disaster spread at terrifying speed, people around the world finally realized how serious the situation was. Take this young couple, for example. The moment they met, the earthquake struck.
There's something pulling us apart.
The man had barely finished speaking when a massive crack ripped the ground apart and brutally separated them. Luckily, a stone pillar nearby temporarily kept them safe. At the same time, the world's top billionaires received an encrypted message. It contained only 4 words: bored immediately. It turned out that years ago, scientists had already detected this catastrophe, so they secretly built 4 Noah's Arks inside China. Each ark could carry more than 100,000 people. Besides world leaders and top scientists, anyone else who wanted a seat had to pay 1 billion euros for a ticket. A price like that was impossible for ordinary people. This man, a civilian, was no exception. The moment he realized the disaster had arrived, he took out his watch worth 100,000 yuan and rented a plane, planning to escape with his family. On the way back, he called his ex-wife and told her to take the child and leave immediately. He said he would arrive in 5 minutes. She thought he had lost his mind and hung up without hesitation. But just seconds later, the entire house began shaking violently. Only then did she realize everything he said was true. She quickly hid under the table with her boyfriend and the child. At that moment, the man arrived.
Let's go! Let's go!
I think it's safer under here!
Get in the fucking car!
After hearing what happened, she didn't hesitate any longer and ran outside with the child. Thankfully, he arrived just in time. The moment they got out, the house collapsed behind them. And it wasn't just their home. The entire street was crushed like cardboard by the earthquake. The man floored the gas, racing down the road. Behind him, the ground kept rising and splitting apart. The distance grew shorter and shorter. At any second, they could be swallowed into the earth. Just then, an old car blocked the road ahead. Inside was an elderly couple, both trembling in fear. With no other choice, the man turned sharply and drove into a nearby yard. Fortunately, the fences were made of wood and couldn't stop the speeding car.
God, everybody hang on!
Obstacles kept appearing along the way, but every time, he managed to escape danger. Even when faced with a collapsing skyscraper, he made a split-second decision and drove straight through. After pushing through countless dangers, they finally reached the airport. But the pilot was dead. Without a pilot, the plane couldn't take off. That's when the woman pointed out that her boyfriend could fly.
Fly?
No, I've only had a couple of lessons in a single-engine plane only!
You're the guy!
No, I am not the guy!
With 5 lives at stake, the man with glasses had no choice but to sit in the pilot's seat. At the same time, the earthquake was racing toward the airport at incredible speed. The runway was collapsing piece by piece. He hadn't even finished the pre-flight check, but there was no time left. The man grabbed his hand and slammed the throttle forward. Just before the runway completely collapsed, the plane finally lifted off. However, because the ground was still rising, the plane couldn't gain altitude fast enough and almost collided with an oncoming train. Luckily, the pilot reacted in time and dodged it. But right after avoiding the train, 2 skyscrapers appeared ahead. By narrowly maneuvering through them, they escaped once again. This earthquake reached a magnitude of 11. All of California was swallowed by the ocean. The Pacific plate shifted nearly 400 kilometers. Although they survived this disaster by sheer luck, the Earth had already fallen. And now the question remains, where could they possibly go next?